Hey guys, this is Tom from Numbers Game Lifestyle, and today I'm going to be answering a question that I got on one of my videos. So let's have a look at what he has to say. This is from Dave France. He says, "Hey man, appreciate the videos. Could you make one talking about dating burnout? I've been going hard the past few months and I had quite a bit of success approaching and meeting online, but recently I've been feeling really burnt out, and I don't want to lose my progress/momentum with game. Would appreciate if you made a video talking about your experience with this." Okay, so that's exactly what we're going to be talking about now. And that is dating burnout. How does burnout happen? Okay? How burnout happens in your whole dating life is when you work super hard with not a lot of returns to show for all the effort that you put in. And that is how you experience burnout with everything in life. Let's say you're working out. I'm going to work out 7 days a week, 3 hours a day. You're going to last maximum a month before you're just like, man, screw this working out crap. Like, I'm not doing that again. Like, I'm not seeing any results. It's just not worth all the effort that I'm putting in. With all this time and effort that I've put in, I expect to look like Arnold because I'm working out 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? Whereas if you just work 1 hour a day, 5 days a week starting off, you'd have like decent progress and you wouldn't burn yourself out. You're like, man, it's only an hour a day. I'm not burning myself out here. I can make this sustainable. I can continue to do this for the rest of my life and not feel bad about the lack of results that I'm getting because of all the effort I'm putting in. It's the same way with fishing as well. Let's say you were fishing. You're like, going every weekend, I'm going fishing. Imagine that every time you went fishing, you were getting bites, you were reeling in fish. You're like, man, this fishing stuff is awesome. And it is so easy, right? You are never going to experience burnout when you're catching fish every time. What you are going to experience burnout is when you're going out weekend after weekend, no bites, no fish. It's a month long and you're like, no bites, no fish. Fishing sucks. I'm not doing this again. Totally burnt out. I'm not going fishing this weekend, that's for sure. Okay, because you invested all this time and energy with not a lot of results. The results just weren't worth all the effort that you were putting in. It's the exact same thing with everything in life. You're working super hard at your job, trying to climb the corporate ladder, working overtime and everything. You can't do that indefinitely. You are going to burn out eventually. So you have to pace yourself and, for the long haul. And it's the exact same thing with dating. You have to pace yourself, whether it's, wanting girlfriends, wanting hookups, absolute abundance. You have to make this sustainable for the rest of your life. So you don't have to work very hard. You don't have to invest a ton of energy into it. By pacing yourself, you can last for the end of time, to the rest of your life. How do you go about avoiding dating burnout? Okay, so he mentioned he was approaching women most likely during the day, so it's a day game situation. How do you make that more efficient so you're not investing so much time and energy for not a lot of results? Here's how you make it efficient. Look at your life, do an audit of your lifestyle, and figure out, how can I be around women more easily? How can I make it easier for me to be around women? That makes everything easier. Exposure to women is the number one ingredient leading to sexual and dating abundance. Okay? You have to be around the fish in order to catch fish. So how can you be around these fish? Okay, so what can you do? Instead of driving to work, maybe try taking transit. If it's a busy city, lots of women, tons of women, unlimited amount of women are riding these trains and taking these buses the same as you. That was the first time I experienced, sexual abundance, is when I took transit to work and I realized half an hour a day after work, I just hung out, chilled out at the bus stop or chilled out at the train station, and boom, dating abundance. You talk to women easily there. And all it took was an extra half an hour a day. I'm just going to sit back and wait for the women to show up. I'm here anyways. Same thing with grocery shopping. Everybody has to grocery shop. So find the busy location with all the best deals and go when there's lots of women coming and going. The chances of you finding women that are hot and available are fairly high, depending on how big and busy the place is. So yeah, there's another opportunity. Same thing with the gym or whatever hobby you prefer. Go to a time when you know there's going to be women around. So yes, you can make everything in your life easier on yourself by arranging your lifestyle so you're around more women. That way you're not investing like, I'm going to approach 10 women today. Oh, I've got to approach 10 women if I want to get laid. That's complete nonsense. It is not sustainable. You are going to burn yourself out very soon doing this like, I have to approach 100 women a day if I'm not. Like, okay, you can do that temporarily, but it's not going to be lasting you very long before you're like, man, I got better things to do. Okay, so make it easier on yourself. Another thing you can do is wait for choosing signals. And I know people are going to be like, some dating coaches are like, don't wait for choosing signals. You know, if you do that, you're going to be waiting too long. You're never going to be sleeping with very many women, you know, because women don't give choosing signals. Right? As if. Every woman gives choosing signals, provided that she's interested, okay? Here's the thing. I have no problems, and I encourage men to approach women that never lay eyes on you, okay? That is completely cold approach. She never even lays eyes on you, and go up and talk to her so she looks at you. This is going to determine everything. The way she looks at you will determine whether this girl is in or out. Okay, and when you start that conversation, you're going to see like right away, is this girl, you know, viable, or is this girl like not interested at all? Okay, so I have no problem with completely cold approach. What I do have a problem with is guys looking at women and the women looking back at them and the woman just, there's no reaction. It's like you don't even exist. Her eyes just immediately avoid yours and they never look back. There she's like, don't look at him. Don't look back at him. Don't look at him. He'll go away. That is your cue to not approach. She's doing that on purpose. Or she's looking at her phone like, don't look at him. Just keep walking. It's her cue to say like, I'm not interested or I'm not available. Either situation, you're not getting anything, okay? And I've done this plenty in the past where I've looked at women and she's looked at me and there's been no reaction. She just keeps walking. And I'm like, oh, okay, like she might be interested. Like I didn't see anything like very blatant, but I'll go ahead and talk to her. And sure enough, I go and talk to her, have a pleasant conversation, get her number. We text back and forth a bit, but the number never leads anywhere. There's no date involved. Why? Possibly because she was never available, or maybe I wasn't her type of guy, okay? And I would have saved myself all the trouble had I just paid attention and she like, there was no reaction when she looked at me. So take that as a cue. You know, I've field tested this over and over. Women that are interested in you look at you just like they look at everything else. They will stare a little bit longer. They will double take. They'll look at you twice. They'll brush their hair and look at you again to make sure that you're actually looking at her. She will hover around you if she can. These are all subtle cues that she is somewhat interested. Okay, approach these women. You will save yourself a ton of time instead of having to spam approach every woman. And when you look at women and they're giving you no indicators, like no reactions, you can screen them right out. I mean, you can field test this. I invite you to field test this, to go out to women and they lock eyes on you and then they look away and they never return eye contact. Go ahead, approach them. See what happens. Let me know if you get laid, okay? Chances are very, very slim, okay? So in order to make day game more efficient, you know, get choosing signals. Approach women that look interested, okay? This is like sales 101. You don't just spam approach like trying to sell like snow to Eskimos. You look for people that are looking at what you're selling, okay? That's step number one. People just want to avoid this step and be like, no, just go and try to sell them. Okay, like, go ahead, but you're wasting a lot of time and energy doing it that way. Anyways, there's a next one. He was doing online as well. Online game can be very hit and miss depending on the seasons, right? Some months can be very hot. Like there's tons of women on the apps. They're all horny. They're all, ready, single and ready to mingle. Other times there'll be a lot fewer women on the apps and they're a lot more, busy doing stuff, not really in the market for actually dating and hooking up. So yes, a lot of this is hit and miss. And the algorithms that these apps use themselves will screw you over as well, okay? They do that to make sure that you spend your money. So they will limit your exposure until you spend more money. This is just their way of, extracting as much money out of you as possible. So yes, when you're experiencing these situations where you're putting in a lot of time and effort and money and not getting a lot back in return, chances are you should take a break from the app and come back to it at another time, because right now it's just the fish aren't biting. Another thing that you can do to make online dating more efficient, absolutely get better pictures. The better your pictures are, the easier everything in online dating is going to be, okay? So get those pictures top notch. Make sure that you look like a fucking model, okay? By the end of this, by the end of these pictures, once they're done, you're going to be like, man, that guy looks like the shit. That is the kind of look that we're after for your online dating photos. He was also worried about losing his momentum on like approaching women and online as well. Here's the thing. In cold approach, yes, you will lose a little bit of momentum, okay? If you take a week's break, a month break, a year break, it only takes a small break for that approach anxiety to return, and you suddenly feel like, oh, I shouldn't approach this. What'll happen? I don't know, like, she's probably gonna say no. All that approach anxiety comes back, okay? But guess what? As soon as you make that first approach again, all that anxiety is gonna melt away. I remember all the success that I had before. I don't have to worry about, people beating me up or me getting arrested or whatever nonsense that plays in your mind to avoid approaching women. So don't worry. After that first approach, all of your anxiety is going to melt away and you're going to be back to where you were before. All the momentum returns because your brain never forgets the success that you had in the past. You're like, hey, I've done this before. I know it can work. I just got to put in the numbers to find the women that are interested in me. So it's back in the saddle for you, okay? Same thing with online. You do not have to worry about losing momentum online because your pictures are the same. If you're using the same pictures, you're going to have the exact same results, okay? Online game is very like game by numbers. It's like paint by numbers. You just, the texting's all the same. The dates are all the same. The whole process is the exact same, just played out over and over again. So do not worry about losing momentum. As long as your pictures are good, you're going to have the same momentum that you had before. So do not worry about losing momentum. You can take a break and you're going to be back in the saddle as soon as you make that first approach. You're going to be back to the swing of things. Anyways, guys, that's the video. If you need help doing this, avoiding the dating burnout that so many guys go through because they work too hard and don't pace themselves. The name of the game is efficiency, and that is what I help guys do, making dating efficient for you so you can do this till you're dead. Okay, you can have dating abundance, women abundance, hookup abundance until you die. Okay, as long as you just repeat this process and pace yourself, you do not have to work too hard. If you're burning yourself out, it's time to make things more efficient for you. And that is what I do. And right now I'm offering a limited time promotion for the next 3 clients. I'm only going to be charging $500 for a 2-month coaching program with me. But there is a catch. You're going to have to do a video with me and I will interview about your whole process, what you accomplished and what it was like working with me. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching.